Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. And as you know, our show every week, Invest in Her, is all about connecting female founders to funders. And today, I'm so honored to have on the CEO and general partner of Portola Valley Partners, John Majeski, and their venture partner, Isabelle Bart. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
I see my southern accent jumped in there for a second.
I heard that. I thought I heard that.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you both on the show. I just love Portola Valley Partners because you all are such big advocates of supporting women. And that right there is why I'm having you on my show.
Glad to be here.
So I'm thrilled that you've brought in Isabelle as a venture partner and that, more and more women are part of your Portola Valley Partners ecosystem because you all realize, the importance of supporting women. And John, I'm so fascinated with the backstory that you have. Here you are, super successful guy. You've done amazing work with great companies, HP, Dell, Lenovo, and yet you are wanting to come over to the venture capital world and put a focus not just on founders, but really a big focus on women founders. And I love the story that you shared with me about why that's important to you. And I'd love for you to share that with the audience.
Yeah, glad to, Catherine. I guess after years of being an entrepreneur, years of being a large IT exec, I've seen a lot of women passed over for promotion and opportunities, including my own mother, as her career as a school teacher, being passed over for promotion, favoring men instead. And I look at Portola Valley Partners as an opportunity to kind of give back, and in understanding that less than 2% of all women receive funding, I think I have the ability to make a change in that.
I love it. I think you do too. And I'm so glad you brought Isabelle in because we have a great history. She, of course, has, headed up the accelerator program at UC Irvine. We've done panels together for entities like Smartpreneur. So I'm so happy that you are a venture partner in Portola. Let's talk about why you joined this one, because you could have joined any company.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to tell the story because, as you know, I've evolved in the Southern California entrepreneurship ecosystem for many years as a volunteer advisor and mentor, and even leading, as you said, a social impact incubator a couple of years ago. I quickly realized that funding was a major concern and challenge for many founders, especially women and minority founders. And yet, most funders I met, whether they are VCs, angel investors, many of them seem to really see funding as a numbers game. And as an entrepreneur myself, and I like to have an entrepreneurial spirit, I realized that the way funding was working, maybe it was time to shake it off a little bit and think about it differently. And I met John and Steve Brown, another partner at Portola Valley Partners, and I was bringing my thoughts about the fact that funders have to be committed to the startups being successful that they fund. Why wouldn't you, right? If you invest in a company, you want them to succeed.
And I'm going to interject right here that I love that your whole saying that you had sent over to me on your bios is that your company is a team of superheroes where everybody wins. The investors, the founders, and the acquirers. And I think that right there, who wouldn't want to work with, Portola Valley Partners for that reason alone?
Exactly. That's what I love in John and the rest of the team at Portola Valley Partners, which is we all have skin in the game. We all have personal accountability in making everybody win. And I have to say, it sounds like it should be like this everywhere, but it's not.
Right.
In my experience, it was very unique. When I talked to John, I felt like I hadn't heard that before. We were so aligned in our way of seeing things. I'm like, this is the team I want to work with. And I'm really, again, blessed and happy that I met them, because I think we have this alignment on wanting to change the world, and we're going to do it. And I'm confident we will.
And, I'm thinking as a founder, who wouldn't want to work with you guys, with your background with these major tech companies, and you with your background of accelerators and other entities that have been helping, propel founders forward. Who wouldn't want you guys on their team? I mean, what a lucky founder to not only get funding from your funds, but also to have your team, helping them out, cheering them on. John, I know you have expertise in everything from, tech innovation to sales and marketing.
Right.
And, every founder needs that kind of coaching. And you know what? I have found already, just knowing you a short time, that you definitely walk the walk and talk the talk. Because I know I've introduced you to founders that you're getting behind, and I see that you really are stepping up to the plate to help them be successful.
Yeah.
Not just with financing, but with the whole game plan and advisory board and coaching, and that is so essential to these companies being successful, right?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is that we are a team of hands-on operators, that we're actually getting in there, we're getting things done. We're not just providing funding without a reason. We only want to work with founders that are coachable, receptive to feedback, and that will allow us to take our hands-on approach, coach them, help them with whether it's product work, go-to-market work, sales work, engineering work.
And connecting them with other companies that complement them. I've noticed
Yes.
you do that.
Yeah.
You all are good connectors.
I'm glad that you bring that up, because one of the things that we like to say is sort of we look for 1 + 1 = 7. So as we look across our portfolio, if we see two companies where there's a better together story and you can get this exponential lift in terms of value, we're all for it. So, the more introductions we can make, the more connectivity that we can bridge, the better.
And I know that's how we think alike, because, that's kind of how we met. I was like telling you about a founder that I had a lot of belief in, and you said, I think they need to meet this other founder, that they'd complement each other, and that's kind of how it took off, right?
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that kind of synergy of, how can we just help each other? And I take it that is why you jumped into venture capital, both of you, because this is a way to help founders in an immense way. And I love that you both have a focus, obviously, on female founders. And I love that story, because I think about your mom, because I think a lot of males that I encounter, I'm always interested in, well, why do you want to help female founders? I'm always curious about that. And I just loved your answer. It was so authentic and real that, you saw your mom struggling and you didn't think it was fair, and darn it, you wanted to do something about it. And I love that. And I do think that there's a lot of men out there that have that similar situation, that maybe they were raised by a single mom, or, they've seen their wife struggling, or their daughter, trying to get ahead, but barriers because they can't get funding because they're a woman. And so we just need more venture capital firms like Portola Valley Partners that, it's great to have female-founded funds, and I'm a big proponent of that. But I'm also really happy to have on my show a company that is run by both men and women that are really focused on female funding. It's a great breakthrough, and I feel like it's something new.
Yeah, and I've also, just throughout my career, I've seen the benefit when you diversify your team, the different thinking that you get, the added value that you get. I mean, it just seems to make sense.
And when you worked for some of those big corporations, I imagine you saw that it was very male-dominated, and that they often were missing that, feminine input, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or worse yet, they say, well, because you're a woman, you sort of belong in this category type of thing. And if you're a guy, you belong in engineering type of thing.
Yeah.
And I try as much as I can to kind of break those silos down because there's no reason for them to exist.
Oh my gosh, women and tech innovation. I mean, these women I talk to every day are creating such amazing breakthroughs in healthcare and fintech and all of these things. And I say every day, it just unnerves me that they're not getting funding because we're leaving so many innovations on the wayside that could be changing the world for the better. And so
that's actually, Catherine, that's something I was just telling John earlier. This is why I'm so passionate about this, because we have a chance to truly change the world. And that's why we have that personal interest and passion and drive to do this, because I know there are these ideas out there, these amazing entrepreneurs, these women, minority founders, men out there who don't know where to go. They don't know which resources are there. And funding is critical. It doesn't solve all your problems either, right? So that's why I love that we're approaching it holistically, because funding is part of the equation. But you need also a lot of other things. And with our corporate backgrounds, I kind of like having both, because I also know what it is to manage teams, to hire people, to start working in a bigger company. And I think for some entrepreneurs, the journey is so long and you have to have so much resilience. So personally, I'm also very much invested in coaching entrepreneurs and sharing my experience, even at the individual level, right? Because running a business is going to be very different when you started it, maybe 2-3 people on the team. When you become a much bigger company and you start working with hundreds of people, you're going to need to think differently. So how do we help them through that process as well? And I know our team is totally committed to doing that.
And you know what you just said? You just had a very important point, and that is that the average woman, I think, even has a hard time envisioning having a really large company and understanding that it does take funding to get there, and it also takes all these resources of someone opening doors and giving you connections and helping you market and helping you scale. And we want women to think bigger. We want them to think, they're not going to be happy with just earning 6 figures. Why not build a multi-million-dollar business? But you need venture capital and a team of people around you to do that. That's why we're creating this film together. I know Portola Valley Partners is a supporter and a sponsor of Show Her the Money. And this film is coming out this year to pull back the curtain on venture capital so women can have a shot at it. 1, to understand it better, and 2, to participate in it. Either as an investor, which women have been missing out on this, and let's talk about that in a minute, or as a founder, how do they access that funding? What's the secret sauce? And that's what we're trying to showcase in this film, Show Her the Money. So as far as becoming investors in this venture capital world, you two yourselves are investors in this arena, right? And we need to encourage more women to become angel investors in this arena, which once they do, and they invest in a fund like Portola Valley Partners, they become LPs, limited partners. And we're trying to always, every week on our show, have people understand the terminologies to help them get started. So how would one become an LP in Portola Valley Partners? Do you all have, meetings or events that people can participate in? How does that work for your particular entity?
Yeah, I mean, as far as gathering investors for our fund, number one, we're really selective. Just like with companies getting funded, we really believe that there's a such thing as the right money and the wrong money. So in the interest of not getting involved with some potentially bad actors, we're just very selective about, who we talk to. We want to make sure that we're like-minded, that we have realistic expectations. You can't promise a return on anything, right? This is a venture. But that said, I mean, we're open to having a conversation, with anybody interested.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that a part of their portfolio should be delving into this, especially if you're an accredited investor. And there's so many
Yes.
millions out there that qualify that aren't participating, and they don't realize that, yes, of course, a big part of their portfolio should be in real estate and the stock market. But this
Sure.
opportunity of venture, getting in on companies before they become public, it can be such a lucrative endeavor. And not to mention, just a super exciting world to be swimming in, because you meet the most fascinating people, both the investors and the founders. You kind of find out all of the innovations that are coming down the pipeline that you otherwise wouldn't know about.
Right,
It's one of the
right,
things I love most
right.
about this venture capital world, right?
I think
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we're starting to see more, a trend definitely towards more interest in funds like this, including for family offices, which maybe in the past were more traditional investment. I think there's definitely kind of some traction there. And to your point, once you start seeing the companies you can work with, and because we're very focused on impact as well, we do a lot of funding around sustainability, climate tech solving for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I think many people now start thinking that they would love to see again an abundant mindset and a win-win situation where you make a company succeed. There is a big, nice business opportunity behind it, but you're also having the impact and you're helping
Yes.
solve some of the problems we have on this planet.
Right. Impact investing and leaving a legacy that makes a difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think more and more people are starting to learn, and I hope our movie exposes it more, that, once you're investing in the stock market, these companies have already grown, and you're kind of getting in on the end of it.
Right,
Basically,
right.
this is a chance to get in on the beginning of it.
It
Very exciting.
it is, and I mean it depends on people's personal appetite for risk. Right.
Right.
But at the same time, to your point, Catherine, if you don't get in early,
Yeah.
you're not going to have that same opportunity. But that said, I would never encourage anybody to put 100% of their savings into venture.
Never. Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I think that goes
Yeah.
for every,
Yeah.
you don't want to put it all in real estate or anything. You
Right.
want to diversify, obviously. But, having that opportunity to make an impact,
Yeah.
I think people want their money to make an impact, at least the majority of people
Absolutely.
today that are like-minded. And I want to get back to that like-minded thing. I think that's so important. I have to say we did that with our movie. Whether it was sponsors or investors in our movie, we wanted like-minded people. We weren't just taking investors that didn't align with our viewpoint, or I should just say our integrity. And I just had a recent founder who was taking funding, and they said, oh my gosh, I'm taking it from the right person this time, and it feels so great. Somebody that really gets them, really believes in them. And so as a founder, I would say, don't take money from just anybody to build your business. You can find the right people to have invest in your company that really align with your values and your vision and really believe in you. And I do think that makes a difference in whether you will succeed or not.
Mm-hmm. And it's very tough for founders, too, because when you get that first offer
Yep.
of someone wanting to write a check, how do you say no to it? Even if you feel you don't gel with this person, it might not be the right thing. It's so hard to say no. But, you're right, Catherine. There's other sources out there. And,
Yeah.
it's one of the things that we do also is help to bring other investors to the table as well, by exposing our deal flow to people who are like-minded and might be interested in actually helping the company, not just writing a check for their own gain.
And then here's another thing I want to say about aligning with a venture capital fund like yours. A lot of times new founders will go and get bad loans that are terrible terms, and when they're just starting out, they think that's the only money. And to understand, as Dawn LaFrida always says, and she says it in our movie, that, there is someone out there that has money to invest in you and believes in you. Find them. Don't sit at home. Go out and find them. Don't take those bad loans because, first of all, it's too high an interest rate and it will kill your business. And the second part is they're not going to give you any support.
That's right. That's right.
And so the key to finding angels and venture capital is finding people that will help you grow your business. You know, some people say, oh, I don't want to have them take a percentage of the business. Well, a percentage is nothing. Is nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, so give a percentage to someone that believes in you, that can help you build it into a multi-million-dollar or unicorn, a billion-dollar business. Why not? And have a fun ride doing it. That's the difference. When you're working with people that you really identify with and believe in you, it's going to be a fun experience, right?
Right.
You know, I mean,
Right.
it's a lot of work. I don't want to get any, give an impression that it's not. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But you know how they say when you're working at something you really love and you're passionate about, it really isn't work.
Doesn't feel
That's
like work.
exactly how
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
morning I get up, no matter
Yeah.
which day it is. I don't think like I do work because I love so much what I do and the people I meet.
Yeah.
And when you have that
John,
alignment,
she's not working.
Yeah, like you said, right?
That's okay. I don't feel like I am either. So.
Right. Or,
Me neither.
it's kind of more of a personal mission in the world. When you can get that alignment, it's important. And I think this is one thing I learned with age, maybe, right, as I became more wise, is that ability to really, when something doesn't feel right, really trust your instinct.
Yes.
And I think very successful entrepreneurs trust their intuition, right?
And you know what? I think women are better at that.
Exactly.
And not all women. I mean,
I
but I'm
think
just saying
women,
in the majority of women have that intuition.
Yeah. And I think the other big advantage that many women have is being very vulnerable and self-aware. And so when we realize that there is a lot we don't know that we don't know, that's when we can be opening the door to people to help us, right? Saying, I probably don't know much about, HR matters or marketing, but you know what? I'm going to find the people who are on my side helping me with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a gift that a lot of women have. And, we are here to be their partners, to be helping them in that journey. And, and that's, I think, the perfect match leading to great success for everybody.
And I want more women to take that advice that you just gave, because I do see too many of them trying to wear every hat, and they will never succeed doing that. You can't do everything well. I always say, do what you do really well that you love doing, and bring in the people that can do what you don't like to do, but they love to do, and they do it well.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the perfect combination.
Well, that's exactly why Isabelle's here, because she can do the stuff that she's doing for the fund and for Portola Valley Partners better than I can do it. Otherwise, I would just do it myself. But
Right.
she's better. So
Yeah. And tell us what it is. What is your role in this, Isabelle?
So I wear a few different hats because we still, do, and it's fun. I don't like to do the same thing every day. But, there is a fund that we're going to be launching, Skyline Fund, where I will be very closely involved in talking to potential companies to fund, meeting the founders, understanding what they have, and finding a solution for them, right? And I always see it as, if our fund is not the answer, there are a lot of other answers.
Right. Could be an accelerator.
Exactly. And I see this as we're all in this game together. There is no competition for me. I just want the founder to succeed. So if we're not the best solution for them, we would probably offer other solutions. And with Portola Valley Partners, I also, advise on a lot of different things. My expertise being a little bit more on overall business strategy, impact strategy, marketing, or some things like that. Again, I kind of know the things I know, and then what I don't know, we have so many other team members who can bring their expertise.
Right.
So it's
the team of superheroes.
Exactly.
That's it.
And
us.
we
I
love,
like that.
we work very well together. I think, having basic, wonderful communication, collaboration is what we want to foster, and make it simple. I think that's the other thing I like in our team is we don't overcomplicate things. We make it simple, and just like, again, entrepreneurs, we just move one step at a time. And we know we always have to recalibrate, pivot, but we understand that because that's the entrepreneurial mindset we have here.
Right.
So
As all entrepreneurs that you are. And so in this new fund, the Skyline Fund, that's probably beyond in effect when we launch this show, you are looking for founders in what genres, and what do you look for in your founders?
Good question. So I think we are, definitely not very too specific intentionally. We like to talk about impact, whether it's impact with the founders themselves, as we mentioned, women, minority founders, founders who may not have a decent chance at getting funded based on where they come from, where they've been. Like we really see all of them as, equal in terms of having a chance to succeed. In terms of, businesses, we're really looking at a lot of different things, a lot of different sectors. Of course.
I mean, I've noticed everything from fashion to AI.
Tech, exactly.
Everything in between. We even work with a fish sauce company. So,
I love that.
And again, I mean,
and I like that you do that diversity. So many of them are just focused on really one thing. So this is great that you run the gamut.
Well, that also because of our network that's very wide and all our connections, we will always have people to connect to pretty much in every sector, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's also the benefit and the ability to diversify so much.
And we always like to start with the founder. It's about the founder and then their product, right? It has to be a founder with a good product. If it's the best product in the world and we're sort of mixed on the founder, probably not something that we want to get behind. But if the founder is coachable, visionary, just has the right mindset, they're grounded in logic and reality, yet they have grit and passion and energy.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're looking for. We're sort of looking for an almost magical combination of a founder first.
Yeah.
And then, okay, what's the product?
It's so interesting you're saying that. I was on a call yesterday with a angel group, and they said, go on our website. You can invest in any of the companies on the site. And I was thinking, who would invest in a company without talking to the founder? I'm thinking at least have a video of the founder on there, because I want to know who that founder is, right? I think everybody does, because at the crux of it all, like you said, no matter how good the product, who is the founder? Do they have the vision, the stamina, whatever it takes, the genius, And
just as you were talking about for your movie and making sure that you're taking in, the right, funding for it, similar what we advise founders all the time is you don't want someone to invest blindly because their friend told them this is a great thing. You need to meet investor and founder. You need to meet each other and make sure that you see eye to eye.
Yeah. And I think money has energy. And so you want that right energy being put into your business. And, I think what I want people to notice from this interview and from my show is how approachable really venture capital people are. I think they think of them as this, something behind a closed door, or they don't understand it. But they could reach out to you all on LinkedIn. Right, John Majeski and
we will have a conversation.
Isabelle Bart.
Yeah.
We will have a conversation with everybody, and even on LinkedIn, I have my email, my cell number in there.
There you go.
We're available. We want to speak with people. In fact, probably for the last 13 or 14 years, I've probably been talking to 3 to 5 startups per week. So
wow, I think that's so cool that you guys, welcome everybody.
And we're learning all the time too.
Yes,
so.
I love that too. I know every day people are reaching out to me with various innovations, and I always tell people, you don't know what you're missing out on not to be in the venture capital world. And to be an angel or an LP when you have the opportunity is really just an amazing experience that everyone who can should take advantage of. And it's why we're taking Show Her the Money on the road around the country to pull back the curtain on venture capital and have people meet who are the venture capital people. They're real people, a variety of people. And I think a good majority of new funds like yours are wanting to serve that underserved community that hasn't been served. Women, LGBTQ, people of color, and I'm so glad that that's your focus to serve the underserved.
It absolutely is. Yeah. I mean, and when again, you look at that mix of 98% of everybody that's funded is not a woman or a minority. Well, it's time to flip that, and everybody else has had their chance. Not that we won't invest in a male-owned company or founded company, but we're really trying to change the landscape here for the better.
And I do think every company should have both at the table.
Yes.
So
yes,
when you say
yes.
invest in a male owner, hopefully he has partners
Yes.
that are women or people of color, LGBTQ.
Yeah.
I mean, the most successful companies are the ones that have the mix.
Yes, they're the diversified ones, and
Yeah.
even in the corporate world, I've seen that
Yes.
it's the diversified teams that bring the best products to market and are the most successful.
Absolutely.
It's really simple math.
Absolutely.
And the talent is out there, the people are out there, so there is no excuse why anybody can't have a 50-50 balance.
Yeah, we are striving for that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we're going to end on that note. And they can visit you at portolavalleypartners.com.
Yes.
There
yes.
you go.
We're LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn. Find both of them on LinkedIn. Of course, you can find me, Catherine Gray, on LinkedIn as well. And you can visit us at sheangelinvestors.com to see our other podcasts and also get information about how to connect to funding. And we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you all being our guest today on Invest in Her. And also, you can find me, Catherine Gray, Invest in Her, on Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. Make it a great week, everybody. Remember to invest in her. Make it a great week. Thanks, guys.